This is the farthest area from the actual intake bay. It's like it's a hidden little park. Hey, what's up everybody? The Pond Professor here. I am coming to you today from Springfield, Illinois. I came down, I met with Landon and the team from Nob Hill last year, and it was winter time, and they were just in the very early stages of designing this incredible water feature for this insurance company. They had an existing water feature that was here. That water feature was no longer functioning properly, so they wanted to get it up to speed with the current technology, and I tell you what, they knocked it out of the park. We have to take a walk and check this out because this is a massive aquascape ecosystem pond right in the heart of downtown Springfield. Start you off down over here. First is going to be the pumping area. This area here, we have all the water getting drawn in. We have a series of pump vaults located right behind this one big log over here on the back side. There's a series of submersible pumps as well as external pumps hidden back over in this section, but all the water's getting drawn in. I talk about this stuff all the time because this is the most important part. You have to have a proper skimming system in order to keep floating debris in suspension and get drawn into the intake bay where it could be captured and managed. So this is a critical component. You're also going to see some foam and that type of stuff over here on the surface. It's decomposing organic compounds. They're becoming oxidized through the aeration processes. As the water comes tumbling down through the waterfalls, that's going to actively break down all those dissolved organic compounds, and this is the result of that. You're going to get some foaming and that type of thing, but this is why we have a skimmer system installed. It's going to sweep all that material into an area so it is not unsightly. In ponds that do not have a skimmer system, you're going to see that bacterial flock and foam and all that type of stuff floating around in the midstream of the pond itself, because that is a natural biological process. What I'm trying to do with an ecosystem pond is just draw all that stuff in so it is not in the main viewing area. You can see we have some bridges and crossings and things like that. There's actually a large seating area over on the other side, which we don't want to have the mechanical stuff in that area. But what I love about this is the pre-filtration looks phenomenal. The pre-filtration is an extension of the overall ecosystem. Everything is submerged. There's a bunch of AquaBlox down below all of this rock work. Behind that log over on this side is going to be our pump vault. So all the water gets drawn into this area, then it goes down through the AquaBlox. Sedimentation processes will occur, and the water is going to get pre-filtered. It gets drawn into the pumping system, and then it gets distributed throughout the entire water feature, and that's going to be through wetland filtration, through a series of stack slate urns and jets and things like that. The other part that I think is absolutely beautiful as well, this is their overflow system. When we're talking about a large pond of this scale, and we have sloping areas coming in during heavy rains, which we've had multiples this year, excess water is going to build up inside the pond. It has to be managed. It was not possible to tie into a sewer system on this particular project, so what had to happen was a large infiltration basin. So the water overflows through this little area, and this dry creek bed actually fills up with water, and then it could infiltrate down into the subsoils. So it's going to be replenishing the aquifers. This is not tying directly into a sewer system, which is fantastic. So it's lessening the environmental footprint on everything. It's keeping water out of the storm sewers, putting water back down into the ground as nature intended it to, but you have to have it sized properly. And we'll talk to Landon a little bit about what he had to do to create that. Back over in this section, you can see our stack slate urns. These are beautiful, and they put these in place for a couple reasons. Help with overall aeration of the ecosystem, but also as cars are driving by. When Chris Wilson and I came pulling up, first thing I saw was actually these stack slate urns. Because of the elevation of them, you're going to see them, and then they're also lit up. You can see they have color changing lights up on the top, but the other thing that it does, it's going to pick you up from inside the building itself. So as you're looking across this beautiful outdoor terrace, you can't see all the waterfalls, but you could see the stack slate urns. There's just so much stuff happening here. I'm going to be hopping all over the place. Down here in the bottom, starting to get a little bit of algae growth. We're looking at late August right now. So this has been operational since early spring. They have over 300 koi inside of this pond. They're very, very active, but they're going to be down on the bottom. They're going to be feeding on everything. They're kind of feeding in this area that is starting to narrow down because everything, all of this water is getting drawn underneath the bridge, and it gets sucked into that intake bay. So this is where you're going to start getting the sedimentation processes. You're going to start getting food. You're going to start getting stuff building up in the gravel bed, detritus and things like that, which is actually a perfect food source for those koi. Hundreds and hundreds of tons of beautiful sandstone boulders on this project. Here's some more of those koi starting to congregate here in the middle section. They put in some beautiful, beautiful character boulders, creating these little island type effects. Brought in all of these logs. You've heard me talk about that type of stuff before. The addition of logs into a water feature is very important from a ecosystem standpoint. The ecosystems are designed to have high biodiversity. So what we want to do is we want to have a lot of different types of surfaces: rock, gravel, boulders, different types of aquatic plantings. You're going to have logs and things like that. All of these different surfaces are going to be home to different types of organisms, which help to increase the overall biodiversity. From an ecosystem standpoint, biodiversity is key. You want to have a lot of mixtures of different things. You've got beautiful plant beds and things, so all of those things work together synergistically to deliver the desired results. A few other things that I'm looking at: not only do we have some of these big giant key boulders here, but then there's some areas that are just this open slide of gravel. So it doesn't have to be perfect rings of rock going around everything. By breaking up the monotony of boulders and just having these open areas of river rock going through those places, it acts as kind of that pathway for all those fish, and that's exactly where those fish are actually congregating. There's another series of those stacked slate urns over here on this backside. These are highly visible as well from the roadway over on this side, as well as the building. Trying to take all those different things into consideration. Walking through here last winter, it was almost like a desert before. There was a lot of turf. They had some clusters of trees and things like that, but now it has been completely transformed into an outdoor living space. I mean, just look at this. So not only do they have areas underneath the building itself, but now they have areas where they could actually go, they could sit, they could relax. This is all permeable pavement, again, lessening their impact on the environment. Permeable pavement allows all the rainwater to soak down into subsoils, and what better place to gather than right by the edge of this railing. Sitting, looking across the water, listening to the sound of the waterfalls coming in from different areas, watching those fish kind of swim through everything is just an incredible way to start your day or to take a break when you're in an office all day long. Love the transitions here, going from the permeable pavement. We have the decorative river rock, then it kind of starts breaking itself up into these large boulders going around the perimeter. Once these water lilies start taking off, again, these are first season, these masses will turn into giant areas of water lilies kind of coming out. The other thing I want to point out, not only do they have these water lilies located here, but you could see these plumes of water kind of pushing out. So they have a series of jets down below pushing any debris or any sediments and things like that towards the intake bay. I've talked about this many times before. Everything that we do, it's on that fractal concept. So it's on expanding or contracting geometries. The size of things just kind of move up and down. So bigger boulders, more boulders. But the concepts, the philosophies are exactly the same. We want to make sure that we're keeping floating debris. We want to capture it. We want to push it down to our intake bay for periodic removal. Sediments, dissolved oxygen. We're trying to create more of a riverine system. There's 90,000 GPH of water flowing through the system. So we are turning over this entire pond once every hour and a half to 2 hours, which is very, very important to deliver the water quality that we're looking for on this particular project. So this is the farthest area from the actual intake bay. So remember, our pump's a couple hundred feet that way. Most of the water's coming all the way up over here. This is going to be our wetland filtration system. These wetland filtration systems are critical for the overall health of the ecosystem. This is going to help to detoxify the water. This is going to break down all the nitrogenous compounds that are inside the water, which would make the water foul. The challenge with it is these wetland filtration systems are basically a community of microorganisms. All those microorganisms are going to work together to help to break down and detoxify water. This is how it happens in nature around the world. This is an aerobic process. The microorganisms that are living inside of there require oxygen. The dirtier the water is, the more oxygen they require to break down and detoxify the water. This is why the outfall of the wetland filtration system is a series of waterfalls. This is going to help to reoxygenate the water, critical for the overall functioning. Talk with Landon, the owner of Nob Hill Landscaping. He was the one who pulled off this incredible project, and one of the things that is blowing my mind right now, I didn't realize it. I knew he was relatively new into water features, but this is his 4th pond. And so it's really, really amazing for any contractor to pull off something like this, but for someone who's only been doing it for only a few projects, it is unbelievable to me. I love it because it is located right in the middle of this urbanized area, so it is open to the general public, and people could walk in and they could have access to this beautiful aquascape ecosystem. Landon, and you're the owner, founder of Nabil Landscape Company. You guys pulled off an amazing project.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I mean, tell me a little bit about how it started. Did they just call you up? They were just looking for a renovation? Because I know there was an existing feature here.
Correct. There was an existing, I would call, reflection pond, fountains that shot about 30 foot in the air. Those were built in the 70s, so they were having maintenance issues, cracks in the concrete, leaking. Basically, we're looking for someone to either fix or replace their fountain. They found Aquascape online. We got this lead through the locator about a month after we became certified.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Yes, yeah, within 30 days. So we set up a meeting, we walked through the property, and immediately, of course, my mind was going 1,000 different directions, but they were looking just to replace the fountains. They wanted kind of another fountain, so we thought big pondless, but we actually went into our meeting with 2 designs. They didn't even ask for this one, and we had a huge fountainscape that this would have been all pondless. They liked that, but they had some concerns with it, and I said, well, that's good because we did another design. You guys could do a complete ecosystem here, and this is our design we came up with, and we presented that. Being an insurance company for teachers, kind of proposed all the different educational opportunities they would have with this. They're going to schedule school field trips here, the museum close. It's going to be a real permanent stop for people to come to town.
That is awesome. Outdoor experiences in general are fantastic, but as soon as you add water into the mix, the amount of life that is here just now that I see is unbelievable. There's already a couple turtles here. Turtles are showing up in the middle of Springfield.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of downtown.
That's crazy.
We were lucky to have this company has such a great green space to work with. You don't see that in the middle of downtown, but we've had a pair of ducks in here. Like the first day we had water in it, there were ducks in here. Like right now, you can tell you don't hear the traffic hardly, but you hear the water.
It is amazing. Yeah. It's like it's a hidden little park. I mean, the strategic berms and things and plantings have kind of created this cool little hidden space, and it's filled with the sound of water. It's phenomenal. Once you had a contract with them, you had to start it in the winter time, which is like the worst time possible.
The worst the worst time possible for a landscape company in Central Illinois, for sure. They wanted us to be done by May for their spring board meetings and shareholders meetings, so they put us on a little bit of a time crunch, plus having to do it in the middle of the winter. There's a lot of coordination and logistics that go on. We have a great team of guys that were very excited about the project. Really makes all the difference.
It really does. No, I completely agree. Having the right team that's excited about it. They're going to be seeing this ecosystem, and they're going to watch it kind of evolve over the years because it's going to get better and better.
Tremendous amount of plants in the softscape around it. Once that matures, aquatic plants, it's going to be really special 3 to 5 years. I mean, it's great now, but as it matures, it's just going to keep getting better and better.
One of the things that helps that is the rock choice that you use. You use this kind of a weathered sandstone. It's got mosses and lichens all over it. They look like, I mean, they're coming out of forests and things like that. So they look like they've been here for 1,000 years.
Yeah, they sure do. I can't complain. Our stone selection was great. Our supplier was great, timely. All that helped get that project done. We focused on trying to put the stone back the way it was. Making sure that our water line or that line where it came out of the ground matches that, and the moss and the lichens are all exposed as much as we can. And like you said, it does make it look like it's been here for a long time.
We're sitting on top of permeable pavement as well. Was this part of the design to try to lessen stormwater management, lessen the environmental footprint on everything?
It was part of the whole educational ecosystem part. Just another thing that we could do to educate people and show that, to prevent that runoff that would possibly contaminate our pond right here. With our berm here, we had nowhere to take the water this way. So logically, it was a permeable patio. In our excavation of the old fountain, this also got excavated much, much lower. So naturally, it was a nice fit to fill that up with clean rock. We have about 30 inches of rock underneath this thing. So
that'll handle it.
It takes all the water.
Rain.
Yeah, it does. So it made sense, building the ecosystem and have another green part of the project.
How many people did you have on site building?
2 different crews of about 4 guys, so 8 guys, plus myself every day usually.
Short days because you were working through the winter.
We worked all through the winter. Started November 7th and we were laying sod April 28th.
That is fantastic. Well, congratulations on a job well done.
I appreciate it.
I know your client is blown away by it, and just listening with some of the locals that have been walking through, they're like, this is my regular stop. Walk to the bridge, look at the fish, and I mean, that's exactly why you designed it like this.
That's exactly why.
Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this incredible project. Please take the time to check out some of these past projects.